Right? And who? Yeah, bring the scripture out.
This is Revelations 12 and 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of the Most High. And
let's talk about the prophets.
That's right.
All right, we're the remnant of the seed that kept the commandments of the Most High, because we're the ones rehearsing the righteous acts. All right, not nobody else. So the dragon, all right, which is the so-called white man's power structure, all right, he's coming from that final war. All right, when this war is not just going to be on the physical realm, all right, it's going to be from different realms also, because you got the angels of God, which are so-called black men. They're coming from a different realm. They're coming from the fourth dimension, all right, to aid the prophets of the Lord, to aid the elect of the Most High. All right, because we can't fight for ourselves with the weapons, all right, and the technology that the so-called white man has. We wouldn't stand a chance. So the Most High, through His Son, is coming with the angels to deliver us from our captivity. All right, because this is a biblical rendition of how the Son of God is supposed to look. All right, this false image this is what we tearing down. All right, because you so-called white people, you're not the God of the Bible. All right, you're not the righteous. All right, you're not holy, and you're not the true people of God. All right,
you're the devil and you're the wicked.
You're the devil and you're the wicked. All right, your essence is of a wickedness, man. Your sin in the flesh. Continue.
Right. I'm gonna jump up to verse 15. This is Revelation 12 and 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood.
Which that's talking about the lies. The serpent is the so-called white man. The same serpent that you read about in the Garden of Eden. All right, because this mythology that the society likes to perpetrate is that you had an actual snake slithering, matter of fact, walking, all right, speaking. All right, it was an actual man who has the characteristics of a snake. Somebody that's sneaky, somebody that's sly, somebody that's devilish, you refer to them as a serpent. And that's the nature of you so-called white people, man. Y'all a race of faggots, a race of damn lesbians. Y'all do that by nature. Nobody gotta fucking coerce you to being a faggot. You do that naturally, man. When you was back in school, what type of games these white boys used to play? Little faggot freak games, man. Trying to grab each other nuts. That's you damn crackers, man. A bunch of faggots. And the scripture said that the serpent, which is the so-called white man, cast out a flood after the woman. The woman represents the nation of Israel. Because in Jeremiah 6:2, it said the nation of Israel, the Most High referred to as a comely and delicate woman. Because the Most High deals in symbology and allegories, all right, in parables. You got the righteous woman, the virtuous woman, which is the nation of Israel, and you got the wicked and harlot, which is America. That's the harlot that's sitting upon the scarlet-colored beast. Continue.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. Those were those lies. All right? One of the main lies is this image right here that you so-called white people has branded in the mind of the people of the Most High. Because you could stop any of these white people and ask them if they believe in God. They'll tell you with the quickness, man. Without any shame and without any doubt that there's no God. When the Bible said a fool said there's no God. This is one of the lies. That he is a so-called Jew, that's another lie. That all the great people of the Bible was him, that's another lie. That King David, one of the greatest kings to walk the face of the earth, a warrior king, was a so-called white man. That his son Solomon was a so-called white man. But when the Bible tells you that Solomon was dark-skinned, all right, he'll even tell you that Egyptians were white people. You know why he says that? Because if you have a half a brain, you'll put two and two together. If Moses was a so-called white man and the Egyptians are black, how the hell can you hide a pale-faced baby amongst a dark nation? That's part of his lies. All right, that he's the greatest people on the earth. That's all lies that the serpent casts out of his mouth as a flood to deceive our people, because we're the main objective of the so-called white man. All right, we're the main one that the so-called white man is focused upon. The so-called white man don't care about the Chinese, the Japanese. all right? Whether they know who they are according to the Bible. He cares about the Israelites. That's why the scripture says, let us cut them off for being a people. Which meaning that we wouldn't call ourselves Israelites. And for centuries, the Most High allowed that to happen. We was cut off from being a people. Because we didn't know that we were the Israelites of the Bible. But since the 70s, since the 60s, all right, by a man by the name of Abba Bibbins, when he started declaring that the Israelites were you Negroes, all right, you Latinos and Native Americans, that was the beginning of the Lord having mercy on his people. All right, and that was the beginning of the end of the so-called white man's kingdom.
Right.
Continue.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
That he might cause her to be carried away of the floods, of the lies. And our people are carried away with lies, man. Our people will believe any damn thing the so-called white man has to say. But when somebody that looks like him try to school him on game on what's really taking place in the society, they look down upon us because we don't got a so-called college education, that we don't have a neat appearance, all right, that we don't got a smooth face, a tie, all right, and a fucking degree. But that's not wisdom according to the Most High. The true wisdom is the wisdom of the Bible. And our people, like the scriptures say, the so-called white man cast out a flood, which is the lies. Continue.
Right. And the earth helped the woman.
And the earth helped the woman. Get the archaeological signs. All right, the earth helped the woman is talking about the archaeology that the so-called white man, his damn self, digged up, which proves who the real Israelites are. All right, because when the so-called white man, he got the authority and the money to go on archaeological digs, excavations, all right? And he'll dig and dig and dig. How you think he found them damn dinosaur bones? He digging in the earth. He in the land of Israel, he did the same thing. He might find a relic of King David, and he might have an afro in the beard, but what would they do? They'll hide it, all right? But you can't hide all the archaeology, all right? That's why you got these paintings, all right, in the catacombs of the Israelites being dark-skinned. So this is part of the earth helping the woman. And you have right here Orthodox Jew, all right, trying to whitewash the true images of the Bible. All right, taking the dark images and converting it to white images, which is iconoclasm. Icon, image, clasm means to deface. All right, and right here you got the true picture of King James. Because contrary to what people believe, King James is a so-called black man. He was a so-called black man. He was not a faggot. Because that's part of the rhetoric of the people. But King James was a homosexual. If that was the case, when he had authority to translate the Bible, why didn't he take that scripture out if he was a bona fide faggot? Because he wasn't. He followed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. All right, and he was a so-called black man.
And another thing about King James too, November the 5th, like the movie V for Vendetta, the character V was always talking about remembering November the 5th. November the 5th was the day of the gunpowder plot where they found, I forget, it could have been 19 or 30 barrels of gunpowder in the basement of the British Parliament. Guy Fawkes, the mask for the character V for Vendetta is a Guy Fawkes mask. Guy Fawkes was trying to kill King James. Guy Fawkes was also a part of the Jesuits. He was a part of the Jesuit order of the Catholic Church. King James was a part of the Protestant church. That's where you get the term protest from. He was an avid Protestant, which the Protestants and the Catholics were going at each other. The Jesuits were trying to take over the Protestant church and infiltrate it and take it over and make it a part of and come under the umbrella of the Catholic Church. King James was an avid Protestant. He allowed Catholics to be in England and Rome about where they weren't being arrested and persecuted, but he was a Protestant. And the Jesuits were trying to kill him. And that they were trying to take over the Protestant church and get up in there during that time. And Guy Fawkes was the guy that they had to try to kill him. But it backfired and they caught Guy Fawkes and murdered his ass. And then it was about 25 years after the man was dead that they started spreading the rumor about him being a homosexual. Then you get dumbass niggas that's into that Islam bullshit, that 5% nigga shit, talking about King James had sex with his mother. which is bullshit. There was no way in hell he could have had sex with his mother. Because his mother, at the time when he was a baby, his mother was excommunicated from Scotland. Because his father's name was Lord Darnley of the House of Stuart. His father was murdered. And the Scottish nobles suspected this particular Italian Jake. They suspected him that he murdered King James's father, but they had no proof. 3 months after his father was dead, King James' mother marries this motherfucker. So then the Scottish nobles were outraged and they wanted to kill Queen Mary of Scotland, his mother. So King James wasn't weaned off his mother's breast at the time when the Scots was going to kill his mama. So she ran under the skirt of her cousin, I believe it was Queen Elizabeth. She ran to England from Scotland and ran up under her skirt and stayed there. She was there for roughly about 19 years. So how the fuck he had sex with his mother? He wasn't weaned off his mother's breast milk. So he was basically king since he was a baby, but he couldn't assume the throne until he became old enough. Then when he became old enough, he sat on the throne. So how the fuck, where did these monkeys come up with this shit? Where do these monkeys come up with this shit?
What?
It's bullshit. That's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. And like I said, that rumor was started by a guy who was a part of the British Parliament, but he hated, he was a British nigga that hated Scottish niggas.
Right.
And he made a statement. He said the Scots, their breath stinks of pottage and potatoes and this and that, which King James was a Scot. He was from Scotland. He was born in Edinburgh Castle in Scotland, is where King James was born. So this particular guy, his name was William something, I forget his last name. He was the one, when King James found out the things that this guy said, he kicked him out of the parliament, but he didn't kill him. 25 years after he was dead, that guy is the one who started coming up with those rumors about him being a homosexual and all that. Because he was excommunicated from the parliament by King James. When King James found out that he didn't like Scots. You had a lot of shit going on back then. A lot of those British nobles, they didn't like the Scots. They were going back and forth. They were warring against Ireland and Scotland. So they didn't like the Scots. They didn't like the fact that a Scot was sitting on the throne as King of England. But he was King of Scotland for 36 years before he became King of England. King James. And his grandfather, his mother's father was named King James V of Scotland. So she named him after his grandfather and named him King James VI of Scotland. So he was King James VI of Scotland. When he took the throne in England, he became King James I of England. But he was King James VI of Scotland. So he was king in Scotland 36 years before he even went into England. And there's a lot of history behind all that shit, man. There's a lot of history behind all that. There was a lot of history behind that, man. A lot of history. And even his mother was actually killed. I believe Queen Elizabeth killed him. Because his mother was a part of a plot to kill her own cousin. Queen Elizabeth was her first cousin. Because Queen Mary of Scotland, she was a devious, conniving, black-ass bitch. Just like any of these ghetto hoes, these black-ass ghetto bitches. She was just like that and more fucking conniving. And she was trying to kill her own cousin so she could become King of England. And once they brought all the communiques, the letters that Queen Mary had signed, and she was going to have her assassinated some type of way, they brought all the shit out and read all those letters. And Queen Elizabeth, it pained her, but she had to kill that bitch because that bitch was trying to kill her own cousin. So King James's mother was executed in England by Queen Elizabeth. There's a lot of history behind that shit. So then she was basically a prisoner of her cousin for 19 years. When she left and went to England, the Scottish nobles wanted to kill her, but Elizabeth said no, she's going to be a prisoner with me here in England. And that's where she stayed. She didn't never come back to Scotland after that. So how the fuck he was fucking his mother? These dumb niggas, man, they need to do some fucking research, man. You fucking monkeys out there talking all that shit. You do some